Good morning and welcome. Today is March 12th, 2026. This is Rate Game Live. My name is Nick Mark George. You might recognize me from Sports in 60, the world's fastest and also shortest sports show of all time. Well, folks, I'm back with a new take on an old classic. Rate Game Live is going to be every morning at around this time for about 30 minutes. It's going to feature yours truly talking about sports for as long as I can muster. 30 minutes is a long time, especially when I'm going solo. So I'm going to try my best, but there's things to talk about, and 60 seconds is just not long enough for me. I can definitely talk. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about things that are current, that are sports related, sports adjacent. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty much all I got as far as the description of the show. So without further ado, let's go. Oh, I should also say that I have a producer on set with me this time. So that's why things look a little bit better around here. We have some scenery. I'm looking at it right now as you give me the peace sign, and some lighting. So I think I look a little bit more professional. The confidence is there. I'm exuding it right to you live on camera. And we have somebody watching us. We have a viewer. Somebody's watching us right now. One person. Yes. Thank you to whoever you are. All right. So, yeah, let me now talk about the next thing, which I will do with this banner. Boom. So, Italy beat Mexico 9-1 last night. They essentially rescued us from eternal damnation, which means that we're moving on in the World Baseball Classic. Thanks to Italy. Thanks to Vinny Pascatano. I hope I didn't butcher that. Vinny P, as we call him affectionately, with 3 meatballs. He becomes the first ever person with 3 home runs in the World Baseball Classic in a single game, I should say. So what's going on here? Well, Italy is absolutely red hot. They haven't lost a single game. They beat us. Then they beat Mexico handily. So they are moving on, and they are, I would say, playing the game at a much different level than the USA is. Actually, I would say everybody who's moving on seems to be taking this a lot more seriously than the Stars and Stripes, which is a little disappointing because it's the World Baseball Classic. And I really don't understand why it needs to be like the Olympics or something on the level of USA hockey for us to get up, for us to get excited, because everybody else seems to have gotten the memo. You got the guys in, the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico going absolutely nuts every time their team plays. And meanwhile, the USA manager didn't even realize that we could have been eliminated. If Italy loses last night, we're out of the World Baseball Classic. And I can't even imagine the headlines that would come out of that, especially because you have Aaron Judge, Bryce Harper. You basically have an all-star team for the U.S. And then you have a bunch of guys on all these other teams, except for Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico's team is absolutely disgusting, and so is the Dominican Republic's. So you have some really good teams for, the countries that baseball is their primary sport. And then you have the USA, which, Aaron Judge, Bryce Harper, those guys are future Hall of Famers. You also have Paul Skeens coming in and pitching a game for us, pitched incredibly well, needed his effort. But I think it is, just a little disappointing to see that the product that we're putting out there and the players. I know Aaron Judge, I think, definitely is taking it very seriously. I think he's trying his best to get everybody kind of motivated. But when the manager of the team doesn't realize the situation or kind of the stakes in which the U.S. needed Italy to beat Mexico in order for them to advance, and there's that soundbite of him, talking about how we'd already had locked up, but we're still going to treat the game as an elimination game. It's like, buddy, did you not know that we need Italy to help us? Well, now you know. And thank you to the Italians. Thank you to the Italian Americans of the world. Thank you to Vinny P. And thank you to, I think it was Nola that pitched an absolute gem for them last night. That was not a game that I saw, but it was a game that was on RateGame, and I added it. So let's see what it got. If I can do this quickly. If not, I apologize. I'm still figuring this out, folks. We are live. Maybe. Oh, here we go. Maybe not. This is what I can do. Okay. I can go to Italy. And then I can. Oh, it froze. Okay. Well, we'll come back to it. All right. So the next thing on my little banner here, look at that little ticker, is the Big East tournament. The Big East tournament starts on Wednesday, the week into Selection Sunday. It's always at MSG. Always gives us some absolute classics. Last night we had Xavier and Marquette. Marquette lost to Xavier by 2, 89-87. I'm just going off the riff here. I know that was a close game. I'm not sure what it was rated, but I know that Big East tournament continues to play today, all day tomorrow, into the weekend. We actually have the Big East Championship on Sunday, and we also have Selection Sunday on Sunday. So lots going on today. I think there's another 4 or 5 games. I think, Thursday is the heaviest day of the Big East tournament, if I remember that correctly. Let me see here. Marquette's game got a 9.0. Awesome. And then, let me see here. Oh, we lost our viewer. They left. I know. You're bored by me? Okay, so let me get my bearings here, because I want to see what happened in this game. Last 24 hours. Nice. It's the number 1 rated. You're right. Okay. Perfect. Nice. We're back. Look at that. All right. So, it's the number 1 rated game last night. It's a Big East tournament. We had Xavier taking down Marquette 89-87. 12 ratings. Solid. Anything happen here? Landon says X marks the spot. The Musketeers advance. The Eagles will be back. Xavier Marquette should play at the Big East tournament every year. I think they do every year. I think that's how it works. They kind of have to, because they're in the Big East, and so I guess depending on the seeding. That's right. My it's hot in here, so we're just airing it out. So my favorite team in the Big East is in the Big East. It's Villanova. I think we're projected to be like a 10 seed, maybe, depending on how we do in this tournament. But I will say I am pleasantly surprised for what's happened here in the first year with Kevin Willard as the head coach. I know that coming into the season, I was not his biggest fan. I don't think he left Maryland under the most professional circumstances. In fact, I thought it was downright sleazy and slimy the way he kind of committed to Maryland, and especially to all the young guys that were kind of building something special. You could tell with Derek Queen, him hitting that buzzer beater, them making it to the Sweet 16 and getting absolutely trounced, was still, I would say, the brightest spot in the program in the last 15 years, since the Steve Blake era. Don't quote me on that. Ryan Hammer certainly knows. But anyway, yeah, so, Kevin Willard takes Maryland to the Sweet 16. Derek Queen hits that buzzer beater. The vibes are at an all-time high. And the next thing you know, he's backdooring them and leaving to become the coach of Villanova. I don't know. Seems a little unprofessional, but now he's on my team. So I was kind of watching him from afar and seeing how the guys responded. I think, if anything, this goes to show that winning fixes a lot of things. Winning can cure a reputation quite quickly. And that's exactly what Kevin Willard has done. He's come in, he's been no nonsense. Villanova has responded, and they're going to be back in the dance for the first time, I think, since 3 years ago. I'll have my producer check that. while we wrap. Just, she's like giving me the sign, folks, so I'm gonna listen. And let's see. Okay, so Big East tournament continues today. We have the final day of the World Baseball Classic. Oh, shout out to, not to go back to the original talking point here, but I do want to give some flowers to Canada, because Canada has advanced out of the elimination round for the first time in their history. So we have a nice little post here in the trivia section of RateGame. It says, "Did you know?" And it says, "Moving on. After heartbreak after heartbreak, Canadians like myself in the sports world, we turn to the WBC hoping and praying that Team Canada will at least make it to the quarterfinals for the first time in their history." And they did just that, baby. In game one, Team Canada led the Marlins prospect Owen Cassie. They smoked Colombia on an 8-2 victory. But in game two against Panama, it wasn't looking pretty good. All right, so this is like a full recap. This is fantastic. Check it out on RateGame. It is a new thing that we added. It seems to be slow adoption, but the folks that have adopted it are contributing frequently. So it makes for a lot of interesting little factoids, little things that you might not have known. I know my producer likes it a lot. She's actually contributed one, I think. Okay, so the other topic du jour, we have Throwback Thursday. And for today's Throwback, the classic. So what is Throwback Thursday? What am I talking about? On RateGame, every Thursday, we do a drop of a classic game. And there is so many games to choose from. So we try and make each game relevant, right? Or in season, we'll say. The first drop we ever did was the Miracle on Ice. So this was during the Olympics when USA and Canada were set to meet again. We all know how that ended. And most recently, we had the 2000 and I think it was 2008 NCAA championship between Kansas and Memphis when Mario Chalmers hit the shot with 2 seconds left, sent it into overtime. So today's, and we're just going to keep going, right? We had Japan versus USA in the World Baseball Classic 2023, Shohei versus Trout, an absolute anime scene in real life. So today's is Kobe's 81. Why Kobe's 81? Well, because 2 days ago, Kobe moved from number 2 on the all-time scoring list to number 3. Replacing him was none other than Bam Adebayo. What an incredible thing to say in the year 2026. Bam Adebayo is now number 2 on the NBA's all-time scoring list behind Will Chamberlain. So it goes Will Chamberlain, Bam Adebayo, now Kobe Bryant, number 3. And it just felt necessary to remind everybody, because I know that I think by and large, like the folks on RateGame are a little bit younger, and I don't know if they realize or they appreciate. I don't want to say that. I don't know if they know about Kobe's 81. I don't know if they knew how it went down, who it was against, and so now you know. And we provide a little video. We always provide like a little highlight with whatever Throwback Thursday we're dropping, so you can get yourself up to speed if you're not familiar with the game. In this case, we have every single one of Kobe's 81 in the game. It was a win against the Raptors on January 22nd, 2006. And so 2006, I was 15 years old. I was a sophomore at an all boys Catholic school. And I remember that game happened on a Sunday night. So I walked into school on a Monday morning and I could just tell right away there was something going on. Everyone was kind of talking, very excited. Imagine it's like, 7:30 in the morning and people are in the gym shooting basketballs like before class started, which is not something that really happened. So I started like asking people like, what's going on? Like what happened? And found out that Kobe Bryant had scored 81 points the night before. And I didn't have cable growing up, so I didn't know, I couldn't watch Sports Center in the morning. I had no idea. So everybody, was imitating Kobe in the morning before class starts. Then the bell rings and I'm just like thinking about it all day because I didn't see how he did it. And I had computer class that day, a computer class after lunch. And I remember going into computer class. This is the day when, before the smartphone era, before you could get like instant highlights on your phone, you had to like seek them out. You had to like go on a computer, like an actual desktop, and go to YouTube and pray that somebody had uploaded, these highlights. I think where I actually ended up was NBA.com. NBA.com had probably, stitched it together. So I was able to watch all of Kobe Bryant's 81 points. And that's all I did for that entire computer class. I didn't do the assignment. I just kept watching Kobe score 81 points. Interestingly enough, and I know that a lot of folks are giving Bam a lot of flack, I would say, because he broke the record for the most free throws attempted and made in a single game in order to get to his 83. I was watching it back. I was watching Kobe's 81 back. The last 6 of his points, 7 points actually. So he had 74 points in the fourth quarter, a game in which they were losing, by the way. So they needed Kobe's 81. They needed all of it. They were down by 17 points in the third quarter. But I saw with about 2 minutes to go, and he's at 74 points, every single point after was at the free throw line. So say what you will. And at that point, they were in the lead. They had the game in hand. So Kobe was going back to the line. He was getting back to the stripe. He was still going for it. And I think the Raptors were a little bit angry with him. So they kept fouling him. They kept putting him on the line. His 81st point was by way of the charity stripe, same way as Bam's. So I would say for me personally, obviously Kobe's more significant. I did get to watch Bam's. I was fortunate enough to, be near a TV, and obviously the sports world was going nuts. So I did get to see those highlights quite quickly after the fact. I do think it's impressive. I think you can never take away from a guy scoring 83 points by himself in a basketball game. That's just absolutely insane. And I just never thought that Kobe's record would be broken. So congrats to Bam Adebayo. I know Asia Wilson was in the house. So was his mom. Very emotional, very incredible. Just, I guess, feeling for all involved, for Bam, for Asia. I think she's pregnant actually too. So they're going to be parents soon. That's a lovely thing to have going into, I guess, that new chapter of life. So anyway, that is where we're at with Throwback Thursday. Oh yeah. So I rated it a 9.6, I believe. Yeah. Currently it's a 9.1. And if you saw this game, or if you're able to, if you're on RateGame, obviously rate the game, watch the highlights. If you're not, download it, join us, and do it. It's free. It is going to be there all day on Thursday. Every Thursday we do this. And yeah, would love to know what you thought of the game. Would love to know your rating. Would love to know your take. That's what we do here. We just rate games. Right? Yep. Producer says, yep, we still do that. So that's good. We can wrap it up. I'm at 20. It was pretty good. I'm at 20 minutes, folks. So better than most, I think. Maybe not. All right. So let me wrap it up. Let me say that there's 91 days left until the World Cup. Let me put this back up. There's 91 days left until the World Cup. My name is Nick Mark George, and I will see you tomorrow. We need an outro. Yeah.